Good evening. I'm Michael O'Reilly, Chairman of the Town Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission. It's October the 22nd, 2020. It's 7 p.m. And this is the opening of the regular meeting. I'm going to read information. As you all know, in response to COVID-19, Governor Lamont suspended in-person open meetings. Accordingly, the town of Monroe has selected GoToMeeting. This technology will permit up to 250 members of the public to participate. Any members of the public who desire to submit written information relative to the business set forth on the agenda may do so up to 1 hour in advance of the meeting by electronic mail to the address set forth on the agenda. Notice is hereby given that this meeting shall permit the public to view and listen anonymously, and when permitted, participate in real time, be recorded and posted on the town's website within 7 days, be made available to the public within a reasonable amount of time. In addition to standard parliamentary procedure, the following special rules are going to apply. Please mute your microphone so as to reduce background noise anytime you are not speaking. Prior to speaking and on each occasion, each speaker shall clearly state their name and title for the record. The use of the chat feature is not allowed. If more than 250 people show up for this meeting tonight, I will adjourn it to a later date when an appropriate technology will be available. Did I see Will? Yep, there's Will. Hello. So we're going to call the roll. I don't think we have any, I think we have a quorum. So just say aye here when I call your name. You know, Maini, Vice Chairman.
Aye, here.
Ryan Condon, Commissioner.
Here.
Leon Ambrosi, Commissioner.
Leon is here. He's coming in. He's not signed on. He's signed on, but not audio. He'll be in a minute.
Robert Westland, Commissioner.
Present.
Ron Schneider, alternate.
Present.
Dominic Panici, alternate.
Here, present.
Rick Schultz, Town Planner.
Present.
William Agresta, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Here.
Sarah Stroud, Recording Secretary. And Georgia Contois, Meeting Moderator.
Here.
Good. We don't need to seat any alternates. Next is general public participation. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak to address the Planning and Zoning Commission on any matters that are not related to an application that is before the Planning and Zoning Commission, or to a matter that may be before the Planning and Zoning Commission? Any members of the public? Hearing none, we'll move on to public hearings. We have 3 public hearings tonight. One is being put forth by the town, and it's a double, basically the same thing. We'll go through the agenda. Number 4, SCP 2020 has been postponed to November the 5th per applicant. Number 5, SCP 2020-01 has been postponed to November the 5th per applicant. Number 6, SCP 20-01. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we actually received notice for SCP 2020-01 McDonald's. They would like to postpone until November 19th, 2020. That just came in earlier today.
All right. That's the next. Number 6, SCP 2020-01, postponed till November 19th. Brings us to number 7, SCP 2020-03, file number 1623A, 588 Pepper Street, I-2 District. This is a continuation from a public hearing that was held on October the 1st, 2020. Will, do you have the exhibits?
That's, oh yeah, oh, hold on a sec. Okay. Exhibit 9, green cards and receipts. Exhibit 10, applicant responses to ART comments. Exhibit 11, revised engineering report. Exhibit 12, updated plan set. Exhibit 13, inland wetlands agent notice to proceed. And Exhibit 14, updated ART comments, town engineer. Exhibit 15, updated ART comments, health department. And Exhibit 16, updated ART comments, planning and zoning. That's all.
Thank you. And for the applicant, I believe we have Mr. Soley.
Yes, good evening, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Kevin Soley. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of Connecticut with Soley Engineering. Office is located at 501 Main Street, right here in Monroe. I'm not sure if someone could make me presenter. I don't know if that would be you, Georgia.
Yep.
Thank you. So we're for a continuation of a project, a public hearing at a project at 588 Pepper Street. So we were before the commission on October 22nd, or excuse me, today's October 22nd. We just to orient everybody again to, here's an aerial of the town of Monroe. This site is located off of Pepper Street along the northern end of the town. Route 25 runs north-south. Oh, let me turn my laser pointer on. Here we go. So Route 25 runs north-south through here. This is just on the north end of Pepper Street. So here you can see Route 25, Pepper Street, this location here. Property is currently improved with an industrial building which houses A&B Mechanical. And our proposal is simply to, we're looking to expand and create a parking lot behind the facility. So we had some very good discussion at the last hearing, and we had provided a response to comments, a formal response to comments to both staff comments and also based on the discussions that we had at the hearing. We did our best to address everything. However, I think there was one item that was still a little bit outstanding. You know, we had, again, shown the proposed parking lot expansion. We had modified the dumpster area to include an additional landscape island here. We did propose to maintain the islands for this parking row to be striped for primarily for maintenance purposes and to reduce conflicts for snow removal and things like that. And then there was a discussion regarding the outdoor storage. I'm going to touch base on that in a minute. We discussed at length at the last hearing. We are proposing for that to be a heavy-duty asphalt pavement instead of a concrete pad. And we had a lot of discussion with the commission last week, but there is some reason behind our request, which I'll touch on in a second. We had our grading and drainage plan. We made some revisions based on comments from Scott. I think we did get some revised comments this afternoon. And I think we can pretty much accommodate almost all of them. However, again, we are proposing that we want to avoid installing landscape islands within these two parking islands here. That was his first comment. But I think everything else we can certainly accommodate. Our landscape plan, we provided some additional landscaping. I think we did our best to certainly address Will's comments. He had some additional comments regarding looking at the zoning compliance table and the off-street parking table, we can certainly make those revisions and accommodate those requests from his most recent comments issued today, actually. And he also brings up the outdoor storage. One other item that we did as part of our response to comments was discussing the existing lighting. The existing lighting out there actually is dark sky compliant, so we are proposing to maintain that. We were able to verify that with the owner, that the existing fixtures are dark sky compliant, and then if there are any fixtures that are not and do not meet those requirements, we're willing to replace those. We talked about the floor plan and provided that as well. So one of the reasons why we wanted to propose to have that outdoor storage area to be heavy-duty asphalt, while this application is for a proposed parking expansion, there is a potential that as the business itself has been booming and expanding, there's a potential for an opportunity that this site could possibly be further redeveloped in the future to provide an additional building towards the rear of the property. And I wanted to share this with you because one of the reasons we're a little bit reluctant to install a concrete pad for the outdoor storage area is that would potentially be a location where we could be constructing a building in the future. And we'd respectfully request the commission consider providing heavy-duty asphalt, which will certainly be malleable enough and sturdy enough to accommodate the storage of those empty dumpster containers. But it wouldn't necessarily have the same cost implications for potential removal in the future if we were ever to get to a place where we could come in with an application for an additional structure on the property. That's part of the reasoning behind why we're pushing back a little bit regarding providing a concrete pad for that outdoor storage area. And we certainly would hope that the community offers that consideration so that it wouldn't create an additional, added expense and cost at this time if there's a potential for that to be impacted in the future as part of a proposed phase 2 on the property. Again, that is not part of this application. This application is merely for the parking lot expansion. But that is one of the reasons why we're requesting to keep that as a heavy-duty asphalt. That's a little bit more easier to maintain and repair and less costly than putting in a full heavy-duty concrete pad, which may be impacted in the future. That was essentially it. I think we had, really had a great discussion at the last hearing, and we're happy to answer any questions the commission may have. But we certainly request, if we've satisfactorily addressed all the comments, that the commission possibly view this proposal favorably and move to close, and we can go from there.
Thank you, Mr. Soley. I'm going to poll the commissioners for any questions. Let's start with Commissioner Maini.
Sorry, I'm here. Kev, thank you about finding out about those lights for me. I know I brought it up last time, so that's good. I'm glad with that. I'm actually all right with you going with the heavy asphalt in the in that dumpster area. So just for myself, I'm good with that. I think again, just speaking for myself, and outside of that, I don't have any questions. So thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Commissioner Condon.
I have no questions.
Commissioner Ambrosi.
Yeah, Kevin, if you were thinking about putting a building in the back there, why would you put your outside storage there then?
Well, from a, it's a portion of the site that could be utilized now for outdoor storage, and then potentially on any future, activities that would obviously be relocated to somewhere else on the site. But, for the purposes of our initial planning, we wanted to make sure that anything we did now would be able to, accommodate any potential future opportunity on the property. But that would just be something that we'd be looking to relocate in the future.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So why wouldn't you just put that in this plan before and move it somewhere else so that we can keep it concrete?
Yeah, I mean, when we went to look at the overall proposal and kind of where we wanted to get this expanded to, we wanted to build in some flexibility, so that we weren't going to be, you know, we won't know ultimately how that future site will function and operate until we're kind of much further down a path to understand if and when that building could be viable. And based on the current conditions and the current operational plans, it made sense to locate those in the back there.
Like I said before, if they were going to be stationary, I wouldn't have any concern with it. But since they're going to be brought in and out, I have concerns with that. That's my opinion. So that's about all the questions I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Westland.
Right, I don't believe the asphalt will create a strong enough base, as asphalt doesn't really do well with heat, especially with heavy loads on it. And when those dumpsters are getting moved around with trucks and they're getting loaded and unloaded, they're going to grind into the asphalt and make a mess out of it. I'd be a lot more comfortable with concrete.
Okay.
That's all.
Commissioner Schneider.
Hey, Kevin, what's the for you to come back and say that the asphalt should be fine? I mean, when you say you're going to put more in there, what does the weight usually hold? How does it usually last? I mean, I don't see this being a big deal, but at the same time, why is everybody saying concrete's that much? I don't really know that well.
So what we do is when we're looking at any site development or site design, you know, the heavy duty asphalt really kind of comes in for comes into play when we're looking at larger kind of commercial shopping centers, any area that's going to have the potential for heavy duty traffic, like tractor trailer traffic or things like that. So when we work on, you know, shopping center or large industrial facility or anything like that, any areas that are going to have continuous or repeated kind of tractor trailer traffic, that heavy vehicles passing over them, we propose a heavy duty asphalt versus a light duty asphalt. And the big difference there is twofold. It's not only in the asphalt thickness itself, but it's also in the sub-base thickness. So when we prepare that sub-base or that subgrade, we have a thicker subgrade section, putting in more of that structural road base 3-inch minus process in those heavy duty asphalt areas to provide a stronger base and stronger support for that asphalt itself. You know, again, asphalt is somewhat malleable, right? So as the heavy vehicles go over it, it has some flexibility to it, and it can kind of accommodate, you know, those larger loads. And the heavy duty asphalt with a thicker sub base can really withstand some more robust beating. You know, again, and also from a repair standpoint, it's a little bit, even if this area were to get, you know, some of the concerns about, you know, dropping dumpsters and picking them up could potentially cause damage. Asphalt itself is much easier and more cost effective to repair than a heavy duty concrete pad. If there was to be some sort of impact to a concrete pad, it's not as simple as, you know, doing a little asphalt mill and patch. You have to cut out a large concrete section, you have to pour more concrete, you have to provide more structural reinforcement, things like that. So it's really, you know, not only is it more expensive to install at initial construction, but it's also more expensive to maintain. Where we can do a heavier duty asphalt with a thicker subgrade section, which is going to provide that same stability and structural support, so that it could function in a way where, you know, it can provide the support that's needed, and not necessarily have that additional upfront expense and then expensive maintenance that doesn't exist with asphalt. There's not as prominent.
All right, I'm good with that. Is just this section going to be the one that is the better asphalt, or yeah, just that section, right? Okay, I'm good. No questions.
Okay. Commissioner Panici.
I have no question. I'm okay with the asphalt.
All right. I'm okay. You have a dumpster pad. There is a dumpster pad there that's going to be used for a dumpster, and it is concrete. From what I understand, the area you're speaking about is only going to be used to store empty dumpster, so that's not a deal breaker for me. It's going to be dark sky compliant completely all around. I'm okay with that. So I have no other questions. I'm going to go to staff right now and see if, Will, do you have any other concerns or questions before we go to the public?
I have nothing in addition to my memo today.
Okay. Then is there any member of the public that would like to speak in regards to this application? For, against, or in general? Hearing none, one more time. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak at this time for, against, or just in general regarding this application? If not, then back to you, Mr. Solé. I believe you already said you'd like to close the hearing.
Yeah, I think we've had some good discussion on this application. We've been able to be as responsive as we can be. I think we've primarily addressed the majority of the staff comments and the commission comments. The plan itself is in accordance with the zoning regulations and the plan of conservation and development. And, we respectfully request approval.
Thank you. So this hearing is hereby closed. Number 8. Next on the agenda is ZCA 2020-02, which is a zone boundary change. In conjunction with that, number 9 is RAA 2020-03, which is a text amendment. These are both being brought forward by the Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission, and they concern rezoning of certain B1 district parcels on Main Street North of the intersection of Judd Road and Purdy Hill Road, and to add a setback yard exception for certain abutting properties within the business district 2, B2. So I believe Mr. Aggressor can run through these for us.
And Ryan, read the legal notice first, please.
Yeah, let me go ahead and read the legal notice. Planning and Zoning Commission, Monroe, Connecticut, notice of public hearing to be held October 22nd, 2020. In accordance with EGS 8-7D, a public hearing will be held on Thursday, October 22nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via GoToMeeting at https://global.gotomeeting.com/join/379922709 with additional access by phone at 872-240-3412, access code 379922709, concerning the following. RAA 2020-03, file number 1010E, B2 District Yard Exception. Planning and Zoning Commission proposed zoning text amendment to 4.2.4, adding a setback yard exception for certain abutting property conditions associated with minimum yard at residential zone boundary for property within a business district 2B-2. The amendment would provide an exception for the otherwise required larger rear and side minimum yard requirement at a residential zone boundary as follows. Except if abutting land owned by the state of Connecticut, which is permanently preserved in perpetuity in its natural and open condition for the protection of natural resources and public water supply, or permanently protected open space of a solely passive nature. Please check the Town of Monroe website for announcements of meeting cancellations, rescheduling, and for instructions for attending and or participating remotely or electronically. Complete details and copies of all related materials associated with the above matters are on file and available for viewing in the Monroe Planning and Zoning Department offices by appointment and on the town website at http://www.monroect.org/content343/351/373/10.aspx. Notice was published in Voices twice on Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, and Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. I should go and read the next one too, correct?
Yes.
Both? All right. Sit back, everybody. Planning and Zoning Commission, Monroe, Connecticut, notice of public hearing to be held on October 22nd, 2020, in accordance with CGS 8-7D. A public hearing will be held on Thursday, October 22nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via GoToMeeting at https://global.gotomeeting.com/join/379922709 with additional access by phone at 872-240-3412, access code 379-922-709, concerning the following: ZCA 2020-02, file number 1015D, Planning and Zoning Commission proposed zoning boundary changes, rezoning of certain B1 district parcels on Main Street north of intersection with Judd Road and Purdy Hill Road. Properties 150 Main Street, 155 Main Street, 160 Main Street, 163 Main Street, 22 Judd Road, 166 Main Street, 171 Main Street, 172 Main Street, 176 Main Street, 178 Main Street, 179 Main Street, 181 Main Street, 188 Main Street, 193 Main Street, 195 Main Street, 201 Main Street, 211 Main Street, 19 Old Newtown Road. Please check the Town of Monroe website for announcements of meeting cancellations, rescheduling, and for instructions for attending and/or participating remotely electronically. Complete details and copies of all related materials associated with the above matters are on file and available for viewing in the Monroe Planning and Zoning Department offices by appointment and on the town's website at http://www.monroect.org/content/343/351/373/1021.aspx. Notice was published in Voices twice on Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, and Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Ryan.
you, Secretary Condon.
Okay, and notice exhibits for application RAA-2020-03, file 1010E, zoning text amendments be to your district setbacks. Exhibit 1 is draft zoning text amendments. Exhibit 2, regional planning agency referral notice. Exhibit 3, adjacent municipality referral notices. Exhibit 4, CGS 83I referral notices to Aquarian and Public Health Department. Exhibit 5, Naugatuck Valley COG referral response. Exhibit 6, Western Connecticut COG referral response. Exhibit 7, Metro COG referral response. Exhibit 8, ART town engineer comments. In addition, yeah, that is it for that one. For application ZCA 2020-02, file number 1015D. Draft, hold on. What is this? The draft zoning text amendments, which includes the amendments to the map. Exhibit 2, Connecticut referral to planning agencies. Exhibit 3, referrals to municipal agencies. Exhibit 4, Aquarian and Public Health referral notices. Exhibit 5, Naugatuck Valley COG referral response. Exhibit 6, Western Connecticut COG response. Exhibit 7, Metro COG response. Exhibit 8, certified mailing within 500 feet of the public hearing notice to neighbors. And Exhibit 9, ART town engineer comments. That's the exhibits. Okay, Georgia, can you put up the amendment document, please?
Yep, give me 1 second.
Okay, if you could scroll it down a little.
Yep.
Okay, the two applications of the, so I'm Will Agresto, Planning and Zoning Administrator on behalf of the commission. These are both commission proposals. Amendment 1 is a zoning text amendment. It would be an amendment to section 4.24 lot area and bulk dimensional requirements for business district 2. It would provide an exception, which is noted by the double asterisk in blue at residential zone boundary for minimum yard requirements. Currently, the setback at a residential zone boundary in the B2 district is 30 feet. If you're at, and this exception would allow it to be just the 20 feet, which is the one below it. If the land abutted land owned by the state of Connecticut, and that land was permanently preserved in perpetuity in its natural and open condition for the protection of natural resources and public water supply or permanently protected open space of solely passive nature. This occurs at least in one area that we're familiar with, which is part of the Second Amendment, and it may occur in other locations. The thinking was, since these lands are protected, the added setback from residential properties would be less important, notwithstanding whether that has anything to do with the natural resources, but that would be the thinking. The second part, if you can scroll down, Georgia, of the two applications, is a zone boundary change. I don't know if you could zoom in on that or not, but the zone boundary changes that we're proposing, or the commission is proposing, is the existing B1 district lands north of Judd Road. And this lists all the properties which Ryan had listed off in the legal notice. And this table shows the existing properties, the current property owners, and the current land uses that occur on those properties, the existing zone, and the far right column would be what the new zone would be. The majority of these parcels would convert from B1 to B2. There are a series of parcels, as you can see, that are bifurcated, meaning they have more than one zoning district in them. Some of those would revert to B2. One would revert to RF2 because it is primarily a residential property. That's the one on Judd Road. And there's another one that would revert to I1, which is a very small piece of a larger parcel owned by the town of Monroe, which is open space. It is primarily wetlands. It's not really, it can't be developed because it is open space, but the idea is to make it one consistent zone, consistent with the commission's practice of not having bifurcated zoning properties. And since the bulk of it is zoned I1, the added piece would also, the missing piece would be the same. If you can move down to the map. So this map shows the existing area of concern, which are the colored parcels on the map. These are all that area that falls within the dashed line around the colored parcels is currently zoned B1. The different coloring represents the different land uses that are on it today, which was in that chart. Some of these uses are auto-oriented, meaning they're, a repair shop or gas station, things that are permitted in the B2 zone but are not permitted in the B1. So there already are some uses that are in this area that are non-conforming presently, so this would make them conforming in the extent of that they'd be permitted. And so if we go to the next map. Okay, so the map on the left, the gray area again is the areas within the B2 zone presently. The area to the south of Judd Road is also B2. As you can see in the map to the right, there is more gray. So we're showing the entirety of the B2 zone. The hatched area to the north of Judd Road is the area that we're looking at. And as you can see, the line around the perimeter of the zone is slightly different for the few little parcels that I talked about. For instance, there's a piece at the very northeast that would go into the I-1 zone, which is part of the town's open space. And then the Judd Road parcel, that entire Judd Road parcel would become residential, which is matching its existing single family use category. And the rest would be zoned B2. And that would then be one contiguous corridor to the north and south of Judd Road of B2. Can you scroll a little bit more to see if we can show the extent of the southern extent of the existing zone? Yeah, so it goes there. So that whole area now would become B2. And these are all properties fronting on Main Street. And in a nutshell, I believe that is the entirety of the applications proposed by the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Agresta. I will now poll the commissioners for any questions or comments. Commissioner Maini,
No questions.
Commissioner Condon,
No questions.
Commissioner Ambrosi,
No questions.
Commissioner Westland,
No question.
Commissioner Schneider,
No questions.
and Commissioner Panici.
No questions.
Okay, then I have no questions either. So back to Mr. Agresta. I imagine you want to close these hearings.
I think we should give an opportunity for any public comment.
Oh, sorry. Absolutely. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this zone change application and text amendment application that has been proposed by the Town of Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission? Hearing none, are there any members of the public that would like to comment on these two applications? Hearing none, then back to you, Mr. Agresta.
In summary, we did receive referral responses from the three COGs. All three of them noted it as being a non-regional issue, so they had no comments. We did also, before the hearing, reach out to the individual property owners that owned all these properties and gave them notice of the pending application and hearings. We heard, I think, from one person, and when we told them what we were doing, they were fine with it. And then we obviously followed up with the legal notice certified mailings, not only to the property owners, but also to everyone within 500 feet. And as evidenced tonight, there is no public comment. Therefore, the commission is of its pleasure to close this hearing and later take action positively.
Thank you, Mr. Agresta. We're hereby closing these two public hearings. Okay. Next, we have a site development plan, number 10 on the agenda. That is 10-86-S-A1, file number 1055A, 838 Main Street, B1 District Site Development Plan application proposing change of use to a liquor store. I believe we have someone from JSS that would you like to go over the your plan for us? I think you need, oh, there you go.
You have to unmute.
You're muted.
You need to unmute yourself.
Go ahead.
There we go. Good evening. My name is Susan Stonaha, and I am part of JSSS LLC. And it is our intention, we have submitted a site development plan application, as you said, proposing a change of use at the location at 838 Main Street, Unit 1A, which is that largest part of that complex or that strip mall at the end with the signs that say Tollgate Plaza. And it is our intention to turn that location into a retail liquor store, which we will carry beer, wine, spirits, and mixers. And that's our plan, and hoping to get approval tonight.
Okay. There's a picture of it.
Yeah, so if people are, I assume everyone's pretty much familiar with Tollgate Plaza. That's where the canteen is and El Coyote. The unit that they're looking at is the N unit, A unit. It's the largest unit there. That used to be occupied by a school program, the town of Monroe school program. And long ago, when it originally was built, it actually was a auto parts retail store. That was actually the first building built on the site. There is no physical improvements really that need to be done to the site, except for some of the handicap spacing needs to be restriped in order to provide a sufficient number of parking spaces. There's plenty of parking spaces as enumerated in the table, but some of them have to be converted to the ADA compliance spaces to bring this up to grade with current standards. Other than that, everything else is internal, as the applicant said, with exception of external signage that they can do with the zoning enforcement officer.
Thank you, Mr. Grista. I'm just going to poll the commission to see if there are any questions, comments, and how you're feeling about whether we should approve this or approve with modifications. Commissioner Maini.
I'm assuming there's a permit available, a liquor permit available for this location?
There is one permit available for the town of Monroe.
You guys have acquired it already?
No, we can't do that without town approval, so we are prepared to submit that application to the state of Connecticut as soon as we do obtain the approval.
Okay, and you're okay with making the modifications to the parking lot?
That will be done by the owner of the complex, which is 3D Realty.
Excellent. You've spoken to them about that?
Yes, indeed.
Excellent. Thank you so much. No further questions.
Thank you.
Commissioner Condon.
No question.
Commissioner Ambrosi.
No questions.
Commissioner Westland.
I have no questions.
Commissioner Schneider.
I have no questions either.
And Commissioner Panici.
No question.
All right. I as well have no questions.
I just have one last item to bring up. So part of this is a locational approval for alcohol sales. That's sort of a unique this type of retail use as opposed to other retail uses. And so part of your analysis and consideration of approving a location for this in section 6.7 is the proximity to churches, schools, and other places frequented by minors. As noted in the application, I believe you said there's nothing really within a radius of about a mile, which I would concur with. And this is a typical shopping center. So I don't think that would be any issue, but that's something you would have to also concur with.
Thank you. A point of order. Will, do we have to deliberate on this?
We would finish this part of the meeting, then later in deliberations, you can take this up.
All right, then we can close this
this meeting.
Meeting. Okay, thank you. We'll close this meeting and move on. And we'll talk about it again later at deliberations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Final site development plan number 11 SDP 2020-02, file number 141, 537 Monroe Turnpike, B2 District. This is a little bit more involved, or is it? Site development plan application proposing to change of use also for a liquor store I believe we heard some of this last meeting. And I
That's
believe they're coming back with responses to comments. Is there anyone here representing the application?
Yes. Where was it? I don't know. I had it in the garage.
Mr. Bjorklund, are you?
Yes, I am, Mr. O'Reilly.
Okay.
We received comments from the town engineer and from Mr. Agresta. The town engineer had no comments. Mr. Agresta's comments were in agreement with one was just an oversight to show a back door, and the other one I thought was really more of a zoning compliance issue to remove the signs from two existing facilities that are no longer occupied. And we're in agreement with both of those. That they be noted on the plan, and I believe that we forwarded plans over to Mr. Agresta's office, noting that. But we're in agreement with that.
Thank you. We do have the plans. I'm going to poll the commissioners now for questions or comments. Commissioner Maini,
No questions.
Commissioner Condon,
No questions.
Commissioner Ambrosi,
Hey, Dave, do these people hold a license already that are going to move into there?
Yes, they hold they have the liquor license, the liquor store over at 246 Main Street, which is just north of the Sippin facility, where the brew pub is, and the Northeast Laser.
Okay, I have no further questions.
thank you. Commissioner Westland,
I have no questions.
Commissioner Schneider,
No questions.
and Commissioner Panici.
No questions.
I have no questions either. So we'll go back to Mr. Bjorklund.
I have no further comments.
Like to close the hearing.
Yes, I would.
Okay, well then we will now, unless there's other comments from staff,
I have no more comments.
I would like to close this hearing meeting here. And go on to number 12, which I believe we're going to skip over, the bond release.
That's correct.
I don't believe they made any changes since we reduced the bond.
That's correct.
And therefore, number 13 is a time extension. I have a letter from Sully Engineering regarding the excavation permit approval, EFP 2019-02, file number 103E, 7 and 15 Main Street. On behalf of 1-15 Main Street, we formally request the commission grant an extension of time allowed to have final plans signed by 90 days to December 3rd, 2020. Difficulties in coordinating efforts among team players and the inability to meet physically as a result of the current state of emergency have made completing the process in a timely manner problematic. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And this is regarding Mitch DSO's application. Do you have anything else on that, Will?
Not really. No, I haven't heard what they've been doing.
No, okay. Well, in which case the chair will entertain a motion to grant this extension.
I make a motion to grant time extension EFP-2019-02, file number 109E7 and 15 Main Street.
Have a motion, need a second.
I second.
I have a motion, I have a second. I'm gonna have to poll the commissioners for any discussion. Commissioner Mayini,
No discussion.
Commissioner Condon,
No discussion.
Commissioner Ambrosi.
I really have no discussion, but when did you say we're gonna do this, in December 3rd? How many days they want, 90?
He wants 90 days, which would be to December 3rd, 2020.
Okay, I have no questions.
Okay, where were we? Commissioner Westland
I have nothing.
and Commissioner Schneider.
No, Schneider can't participate.
Okay.
Okay, and I have no discussion or comments. And we'll, do we have to make a motion to accept, to grant this?
We have a motion, we have a second on the floor. You just need a vote.
All in favor?
Can you call it by roll, please?
By roll? Sure.
Yeah.
Commissioner Mayini,
Yes.
Commissioner Condon,
Yes.
Commissioner Ambrosi,
Yes.
and O'Reilly, yes. So that passes.
Whoa, what about my boy Westland?
Yeah, what about Rob?
I was told he couldn't vote.
No, that's
that's
wrong.
wrong.
Oh,
That's
that's wrong. Okay. Commissioner Westland.
Don't forget about my boy Westland.
All right.
Westland, yes.
5-0 passing.
Thank you. Then it is unanimous.
Thank you.
All right. Number 14, pending meeting minutes. Does everyone have a copy of the minutes? Have you had time to review the minutes from October the 1st, 2020? If you have, entertain a motion to accept the minutes as drafted.
I make
I
a
make a
motion to approve the pending meeting minutes from October 1st, 2020.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. We will, is there any discussion? Let's put it that way. Just speak up if there's any discussion.
No, I'm good.
Hearing none, then we're going to have to call the roll to accept the minutes. Commissioner Mayini,
Yes.
Commissioner Condon,
Yes.
Commissioner Ambrosi,
Yes.
Commissioner Westland,
Westland, yes.
and I believe I was on that as well. So yes for O'Reilly. Okay, we're back to deliberations and determinations. So we can go back over everything again, but start again with 588 Pepper Street. So seated for this deliberation are the 5 commission members. So the alternates at this point cannot participate or vote. So we just heard Kevin Sully go over 588 Pepper Street. It looks like he's answered pretty much all of the questions and concerns from staff. It is dark sky compliant. The issue of paving the dumpster area, they have used concrete in the dumpster pad that they're going to put their dumpster on. But they're requesting just to use the heavy-duty bituminous concrete, where they're going to store empty dumpsters, as far as I could tell. Well, we can lead off the discussion with Commissioner Mayini.
I don't think there's much to talk about anymore. In my opinion, I'm all for what they've proposed. I'm good with the heavy asphalt. But if the rest of the commission wants the concrete, I'm good for that too. So I say let's move forward with it, but I'm for the asphalt, so that's where I'm at.
You're okay with the asphalt
I'm okay with the asphalt
and everything else?
and everything else.
All right, thank you. Now, Commissioner Condon?
I just have a question actually for Will. There was a neighbor last time who had some concerns. I don't think they were understanding everything with the drainage. Did they ever talk to you offline and get that straightened out?
I did talk to them. They continue to have the same concerns. I expressed to them the same thing we did at the previous hearing, and I invited them to look at the drawings, invited them to engage their own consultant to look at the drawings, and I haven't heard from them since.
Okay, as long as you did talk to them again. Thank you. I'm good. I'm okay with it. How they're asking for it, I'm okay with the asphalt.
Commissioner Ambrosi?
Well, I have a problem with the asphalt because the only reason why I have a problem with the asphalt is because the containers are not going to be just standing there. The containers are going to be moved and brought back to the property, moved and brought back to the property, moved and brought back to the property. If they're just going to be standing still there and not being moved, but those are part of their business to be used. So in the summertime, believe me when I tell you, the asphalt softens up, and so the asphalt is going to tear up, and then who's going to police that to maintain that?
Well, aren't they going to be responsible for keep maintaining their own parking lot?
I would imagine so, but I mean, that's something that we would have to keep an eye on. And then that would be, I mean, if it gets deteriorated and they don't do anything about it, who's going to make them do anything about it?
Well, I don't know. I would think they would want to.
If they weren't moving, I would agree with everybody if they weren't going to use them as part of their business. They're going to take them in and out of there every day and unload them and load them every day. In the wintertime, I'll guarantee there's not going to be a problem, but in the summertime, there's going to be a heck of a problem. That's just my opinion, so I'd like to hear from the rest of the commissioners.
Commissioner Westland?
Well, I don't want to make a huge deal out of the concrete. I'd rather see it there. I've made that clear before. I think it's the right place for it. And I completely agree that in the summertime, it's going to get hot and it's going to get beat up, just the way it works. It's their parking lot. If they want to let it get beat up, I don't see it posing really a safety concern. So, I'd rather see the concrete there, but it's not a deal breaker for me.
All right. Has everyone had a chance to speak? I believe
Not me.
have. Sounds like we're moving towards approving this.
So I can draft up a draft, and what I can do is, you guys are still kind of 50-50 with Mike, sort of the tipping. I'll write it up. I'll put both words in, and when you vote on it next time, you guys can decide.
Why can't we vote on it today?
I think
I really think you should have it in writing before you vote on it.
Okay, so why?
Rick, are you there? I think we're planning on changing the way we do business as far as approving these the SEPs. We're going to approve them tonight, and we're not going to bring it back to the commission again, as far as I'm concerned. I think to expedite the whole process and to make Monroe a more seen as more friendly to developers, I think this is one thing that we can do.
It's not very faster. Not really any faster, because I have to generate it one way or the other. And you can do what you want. This was how it was when I came here 7 years ago. Shortly after being here, I showed the commission how other towns don't do it that way, how it's more protective of both the commission and of the applicants to have it in writing, have you vote on what you have in writing, so it's not ambiguous later on that staff somehow changed the meaning of what the commission was voting on. And then we get into the arguments that the staff is doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, which we don't want. And this is not anything I would recommend to you. But again, it's your commission. You can operate the way you want. You know, this isn't like a modification where we're changing one thing. This is an actual approval for physical development that's going to go through a whole ROA process and a construction meeting process. So this is a slippery road back to the bad times.
And Mike, I'll make it pretty clear for me too, Mike. I will not vote on anything unless I have it in writing.
Well, I don't think there's any time constraints on this particular project, so then let's go ahead and do what
what I have concerns is that if it's not in writing and I can't see it on black and white, I have concerns that we could come back and somebody come back and take us to court and say that this is not what we agreed upon, and then somebody changed it inside staff. That's already happened before, and it's happened before in other commissions. And I'm telling you right now, I will not vote on anything. I will vote no on everything if it's not brought to me in writing.
I have an opinion on this if anybody cares. First things first, these meetings are recorded, so I don't know about changing stuff and all that. I wasn't here 7 years ago when it was brought up the old way, but I don't know. I'm kind of in favor of we can vote on this. It's recorded in a meeting. There's agreements made upon everyone. I don't see a problem with it, but that's just my opinion, and I only have one vote.
All right, then let's, for now, we'll go ahead and direct staff to write up an approval.
That's right.
So then what's the approval for, though? Asphalt, concrete, what is it?
Asphalt, the way they wanted it.
Well, you still have two commissioners that said they're for it and two commissioners that said they're not for it.
I got the impression that it was not a deal breaker for anyone.
Well,
I mean, we will vote on it again when it comes back to us.
Just to be clear, it's for the asphalt, but for the heavier grade asphalt.
Ron, you should not be speaking.
Oh my God.
Yes, it is for the heavier grade asphalt.
All right.
All right, so Will, you can go ahead and write up an approval for that, and then we'll bring it back to the next meeting and we'll vote on it at that point.
Okay.
All right, so we can also deliberate on our text amendment and our zone boundary change. So I think, are there any questions about this? This is our own text amendment and our own boundary change, but just for the last time, does anyone have any questions on this?
No questions. I'm all for it. I think it's overdue.
Okay.
Now,
Questions on it?
I don't have any questions either, but this is something we could vote on. We have this in black and white and everyone will vote on this.
Yeah, I
I
believe
don't believe that we changed anything, so I think we can vote on this tonight as it sits.
All right, then the chair will entertain a motion to accept ZCA 2020-02 and RAA 2020-03.
I make a motion to approve ZCA 2020-02 file number 1015D as well as RA 2020-03 file number 1010E as drafted.
And you're going to have an effective date, and that effective date can't be any sooner than November 2nd.
Effective November 2nd.
Second.
And Bruno, can you add for reasons noted in the record?
And for the record, for reasons noted.
Second again.
Thank you. I have a motion and I have a second. I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Mayini,
Yes.
Commissioner Condon,
Yes.
Commissioner Ambrosi,
Yes.
Commissioner Westland,
Westland, yes.
and O'Reilly, yes. So, Will, you can go ahead and move that along.
Okay.
So we can also deliberate on the site development plans, I believe. Let's start with site development plan 1086 SA1, file number 10558, which is 838 Main Street. And this is a change of use.
So you would have to make a findings that there would be no impact to, you considered proximity to churches, schools, and other places of frequent of minor and did not find an impact. And the change of use is okay, subject to the handicap spacing modifications.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to grant the site development plan.
I make a motion to grant a site development plan, 838 Main Street, 11-86-S-A1, file number 1055A.
I have a motion.
I
Need a
second.
Ambrosi, second.
Second.
Lots of seconds.
And going to poll the commissioners. Commissioner Mayini,
Yes.
Commissioner Condon,
Yes.
Commissioner Ambrosi,
Yes.
Commissioner Westland,
Westland, yes.
and O'Reilly's yes as well.
Do we have discussion or was that too late because we already voted?
Sorry?
So do we need discussion for that or was that just, did that just go right into a vote, I guess?
Yeah, that was a vote. I mean, we can, if you have discussion after the motion and the second, you could have discussion at that point. Did you want any discussion?
I just wanted to make it clear for the record that the state of Connecticut allows 7 liquor stores in the town of Monroe due to population. This is not another liquor store. I believe the Bart Center liquor permit was the one that is up for grabs since that closed down. And this is basically a relocation. I mean, it's a different company, but I know a lot of times it comes out that another liquor store, but it's still just that 7 and it's just kind of pieces moving around. That's all.
Well, you're 100% correct, but technically it is another liquor store because it's another company, but it's still under the 7 permits.
Still at that 7. Yeah.
Correct. Good job, Ryan.
Thanks.
Thank you. Now that's in the record. So I think we can move on to site development plan SDP 2020-02, file number 141-537, Monroe Turnpike, B2 District.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Mike, sorry. Did you get everyone's vote in for that one?
Yes, it was unanimous.
Okay, just making sure, that's all. Sorry.
Will, did you get that?
Yep.
Thank you. Once again, this is a site development plan and application for a proposed change of use for a portion of the former CVS store to a liquor store, relocating from 246 Main Street. So this is not another liquor store. This is a relocation of a liquor store from one place to another.
So again, any motion would have to consider that you made consideration of location in proximity to schools, churches, places frequented by minors, and that the outstanding plan issues on the staff memos would be incorporated with the final plan.
So are there any outstanding staff issues? I thought that they addressed them all to your
No,
satisfaction.
I raised several that were in my memo today that were presented at the hearing or at the meeting. They're mostly housekeeping things, and he said he could deal with them. He has not submitted that revision that I'm aware of.
You mean the changing of the table?
Yep.
So there are, and the off-street parking calculation table and the signage, those, did he address the signage, Will?
He just said he was in agreement to everything on there,
Okay,
but we don't have papers showing that. So part of your conditions as typical would be we finalize that.
okay. Is there any other discussion on this before we make a motion?
I don't have any discussion.
And the chair will entertain a motion to accept Site Development Plan 2020-02.
I make a motion to,
Go ahead.
no, you do it.
I make a motion to approve Site Development Plan SDP-2020-02, file number 141 at 537 Monroe Turnpike in the B2 district.
Second.
That's with the changes as addressed on the site plan considerations. Correct, Will?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
No, sir.
If there's no discussion, then I'll call the roll to accept and move on. SDP 2020-02, file number 141. I will call the roll. Commissioner Maini,
Yes.
Commissioner Condon,
Yes.
Commissioner Ambrosi,
Yes.
Commissioner Westland,
Westland, yes.
and O'Reilly is a yes. Okay, I believe that completes deliberations and determinations. Next is Regulation Review Amendment Work Session, number 16. We haven't met since the last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We do have the mixed use language finalized, and I believe we will be opening a public hearing for that at our next meeting. Is that correct, Rick?
Yes, November 5th.
All right. So Commissioner reports, we have, only thing I have to report, I don't have really anything to report. We have the POCD Town Hall meeting coming up. Rick, do you want to talk about that briefly?
Yeah, the public workshop is coming up on the 29th, starting at 6 p.m. Please have all your POCD binders that you started out with, and make sure you have the questionnaire results in there. If you're missing any part of all the meetings we have, let staff know. We'll provide that, because you're going to be referring back to all those comments that were made at those various workshops. As the chairman indicated, we're using the GoToMeeting format, and that can accommodate up to 200 participants. Francisco will be the sole speaker, and we'll be discussing 8 topics. They are introduction to the POCD update, presentation of early findings, transportation and infrastructure discussion, housing discussion, economic development discussion, open space and environment discussion, open floor discussion, meeting recap and next steps, and then adjournment. We're anticipating approximately 3 hours, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. But I can't emphasize to have all your background information that you put together during this process, because you'll be taking notes and adding to what you already have. Staff's looking forward to it.
Thanks, Rick. Next is commissioner reports. Do any of the commissioners have anything that they would like to discuss?
Mayini, no.
Okay. Then the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion? Have a second? The time is 8:15.